Hello everyone, Jen here. Welcome to a Sims 4 speed build. This is actually more of a renovation of the party house factory in Windenburg. This one will be a little bit of a mini series because in total there are 5 apartments. It's a huge build. It also has a basement with some storage lockers and stuff. So it's going to be big. So it's going to take like 3 or 4 videos to get through all of it. This first video was just fixing the shell of the building. I think this factory is really cool, or warehouse or whatever. I think it's really cool. I liked the shape of it, so I didn't necessarily want to get rid of the building itself. I just wanted to turn it into some apartments. And I thought that this was the perfect time. For rent is still very glitchy, but people are still kind of loving the apartment builds. And we've got Lovestruck coming, and the focus is obviously on single Sims, and something like this is perfect for both of those things. So I decided to work on this. It took some fixing, as you can see, to get things to work and look proper. I did add a 3rd floor, massive, almost penthouse-like type apartment. Each of the lower apartments, there are 4 apartments on levels 1 and 2, so each level has 2 apartments. Technically, those 4 apartments are 2 bedrooms each, but you really probably shouldn't try to fit families in them. Definitely single sim type apartments. Really shouldn't even have double beds in them, but I go ahead and put them in there anyways. You know, with Lovestruck coming out, your Sims are gonna need the space, not necessarily to move in with their partner or whatever, but they're gonna need the space, right? So I did put double beds in them, but you'll see in a few minutes here, the bedrooms, actually you can start to see them come together right now. The bedrooms are on each end of the building. Those tiny little 3x4 rooms, those are the bedrooms. They are incredibly small. By contrast, the 3rd level apartment, the sort of penthouse-ish apartment, if you will, is absolutely massive. I'm honestly thinking about going back in and renumbering the apartments so that the top level apartment is number 1 and the property owner can live in that top level apartment and just rent the lower level apartments out to single Sims. That's something that I am considering. It's super easy to do, and obviously this won't be up on the gallery or anything until everything is done. And it would be super easy to renumber the apartments. The unfortunate thing is, with for rent, your landlord has to live in apartment number 1. Or, excuse me, the property owner has to live in apartment number 1. And that makes, especially when I've made builds like this, that makes it a little bit weird for the numbering. So yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, we start number 1 at the top and go down so that on the 1st floor, the apartments are 4 and 5. You don't really notice it when you're playing the game, to be honest with you, so I think it's okay in this instance. I wish we could rename them, designate the top one apartment number 1, but just rename it to look like apartment number 5, if that makes sense. Or I wish we could have designated whichever apartment we wanted the property owner to live in if they're living on the property. But, you know, we get what we get and we work around that. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Did I mention this is for the save file? This is for the save file. So I'm definitely considering having the property owner living there on that top level apartment. As for the rest of them, I go back and forth on whether I like them or not. They are perfect for single Sims, but is it weird to have an entire apartment building just devoted to single Sims? Is that like something strange, unusual, out of the ordinary? I don't know. You let me know down in the comments. But yeah, I mean, the way I've set this up, essentially, all of the 4 lower level apartments are devoted to single Sims, maybe single Sims who have a roommate or something like that. You know, that's something I've never tried in The Sims 4, and I don't know if anybody has. If someone has, let me know, but I might try before I do the next part in this little series, is see if you can rent an apartment, but also if you have a university, if you can also advertise for and get a roommate. I do wonder how those two systems work together, and I've never tried that before. That's something I want to try out. But yeah, Love Struck is coming out soon, and so I thought we should show some of the single Sims in the game some love. So I might do a couple of more builds revolving around single Sims that are already in the game. Sometimes I like to build my own stuff, like the apartment building that I did for Forgotten Hollow, and put my own families in there. Sometimes I like to take something that's already there and dramatically change it, like I did with Crit Cabana. And then sometimes I like to do this, where the essence of the build in its original form as it shipped with the game or with its pack is still there, but we update it for all the newer items and features and everything that are in the game currently. It just depends on my mood, number one. And it also depends on if there's a pre-made family in it or not. If there are already Sims living in it, I'm more likely to do a major renovation, but keep the sort of external essence of the build as it shipped. But if there's no family living in it, then, or if there's no family living in it, but there's already a build there, I'm likely to do a massive renovation that more or less basically changes the build. And then obviously blank lots I do whatever on, because they're blank. There's nothing there to work with. This is that top level apartment that I was talking about. It has 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. The kitchen is kind of small, but the dining and living room area are pretty good sized. So yeah, I really think it fits. It definitely works as a family home or as the property owner's home. I don't know. It's just the way it worked out with the staircases and where the doors were at and everything. Just to challenge myself and see, because I love this build. I like the way it's turning out. But just to challenge myself and see if there's any other ways to do this that would make that top level apartment not be so massive compared to the other apartments, I might do a base game and get together only. Or no, it wouldn't be base game and get together only. It would be base game, get together, and for rent only version of this build, and see if there's any other way I can think of to add a 6th apartment to the top floor, and or I don't know, make the other apartments have slightly bigger bedrooms, and it would be a limited pack build so that everybody could enjoy some version of this build as an apartment building. I might do that. I might do that. But for now, we're just going to focus on giving some of the pre-made single Sims in the world some love and renovate their single family homes where they are roommating together, or build them apartment buildings of some sort or another. One of the things that I did for this one is that I added a basement. 4 of these apartments, like I've been talking about, are fairly small and the bedrooms are really tiny. So I thought that I would add a basement with just a tiny bit of extra storage for each of the apartments. Not much, just a little bit of extra space to put a few extra things that they might not be able to fit in their apartment, and might want to hang on to and not get rid of for the future if they decide to move, if you decide to move them, if the neighborhood stories decides to move them, they can take that stuff with them. The nice thing about the way For Rent works, I don't like the way that numbering the apartments works and designating the property owner's apartment, but one of the nice things about the way it works with the selecting rooms to belong to an apartment is that you can easily do this. You can put storage rooms in the basement and designate a storage room to go with each of the apartments, which you'll see by the end here. Or actually, you'll see by the end. Maybe you'll see it in this one. I don't know. But I'll definitely give you a walkthrough and show you kind of what it looks like when you're playing the game. And each thing is it works like all the rest of the apartments. It's just that the room is not directly connected to the other rooms of the apartment. Does that make sense? I hope that makes some sense. I don't know how to explain it, but yes, you can designate, like, you could make rooms all over the lot completely separate and have them all be designated to one apartment. And I like that because you can do realistic builds like this where you have storage rooms that are specifically designated for each apartment in them. I just think that's cool. The only bad thing is the storage rooms, the stuff inside of them also disappears when you're playing in one apartment versus the others. So it does look a little weird to be, if you have, like mine are, they have open fronts on them. I've seen apartment buildings where the little storage areas in the basement or whatever have like walls separating them, but then they have like a sort of almost like a chain link fence type of thing in the front so that you can see into them, which is weird, but I've seen it, and so that's kind of what I was going for with this. And so it's weird to walk past or see those storage spaces and have them look empty when technically they're not. But aside from that, it's cool that each apartment can have its own little storage area. I also included a laundry room and a utility room, something that I didn't think of with my Vampire Forgotten Hollow apartment until I was well into the build, and so I had to squeeze a laundry / utility room in there. And the top level apartment doesn't even have access to that. in those videos, I didn't even bother with laundry for that top level apartment, but as I was putting families in there, I realized that being on the same lot with a washer and dryer in the shared area, they're still gonna drop clothing. So after I was all done with those videos and everything was uploaded to the gallery and everything, I had to go back in and add washer and dryer to the kitchen of that top floor apartment. And so the save file will be slightly different than what's on the gallery and stuff. But I figured that was going to happen anyways because more packs are going to be coming out between the time I started this save file and the time I finish it. And I'm going to be going back to older builds and adding or removing things or replacing things that are there with newer things that we get anyways. And it's just a fun little perk for those who download the whole save file later on when it's finished, to have those little, not major changes for sure, but those little changes. But having had that happen so quickly into my process of the save file, I did not want to make that mistake again, and this time I was thinking ahead and preparing ahead. The one mistake that I did make, which I still have time to fix, is that I forgot I put the sprinkler system down in the utility room, and I proceeded to put fire alarms in each of the apartments anyways. So that's easy to fix before I upload it to the gallery though, so I'm not too worried about that. I just have to remember to go in and take the smoke alarms out. Otherwise, I'm not sure what happens in that situation. Also, one last thing before we finish here. If I don't decide to turn the top level penthouse-ish apartment into the property owner's apartment and put a property owner family in there, do you want me to leave that apartment blank for you guys to decorate? Or do you want me to fill it up with furniture kind of for a generic family? I don't plan on making a family for it, but I can put furniture. Right now it just has kitchen and bathroom stuff, but I can put other furniture in there, especially if you want the game to put Sims in there automatically on its own. I can certainly fill it up with some generic furniture for a generic family. But you let me know down in the comments which way you think would be the best. We're almost done here. I don't plan on doing a walkthrough until the very end of all of these videos. So one last thing before we go, I will be trying to live stream over on Twitch the new Lovestruck expansion pack as soon as I get access to that. So don't forget to come over to my Twitch channel, and I will be continuing with these videos and or Lovestruck videos. We'll see. I have a busy week ahead of me with appointments and stuff, so we'll see. But definitely live streaming Lovestruck on Twitch, and you don't have to subscribe or be a member of Twitch to watch a Twitch channel. You can just click on my Twitch link and watch my Twitch videos without ever even signing in. So I'll talk more about that later though. For now, if you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.